There are cars that move the world forward by increments, and then there are cars that seem to leap decades ahead. Picture a machine that appeared to float rather than drive. A car that turned every commute into a quiet glide through space and time. Its lines looked sculpted by the wind, its engineering borrowed from the future, and its philosophy centered on comfort as a form of mastery. This story is about how technology, design, and daring ambition came together in a way that few manufacturers would ever attempt again. Before one French automaker unveiled this sedan, luxury meant leather and chrome. Afterward, it meant serenity, intelligence, and poise under pressure. Stay tuned as we dive into the history, innovation, and legacy of the Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969, a car that proved progress could be graceful. Like and subscribe if you enjoy deep dives into icons of automotive history. And tell us in the comments which legendary machine you want to see next. In 1969, the Citroën DS21 Pallas was already a legend, yet it still looked and felt like a visitor from another dimension. The car's silhouette alone turned heads. Long, smooth, and low, it seemed to hover even while parked. It had been more than a decade since the first DS stunned the world at the Paris Motor Show, but the Pallas version refined everything the series stood for. This was not merely a facelift. It was the ultimate expression of Citroën's belief that technology could make travel effortless. The DS21 Pallas represented the final evolution of an idea born in post-war optimism. To build a car so advanced that driving would feel like flight without leaving the ground. The story began with a nation rebuilding and an automaker searching for a new identity. France in the 1950s wanted to prove that it could match any rival for sophistication and engineering courage. Citroën had already earned a reputation for eccentricity, but the DS was something else entirely. It introduced a body unlike any other sedan of its era, with aerodynamic curves inspired by aircraft and a structure built for both strength and lightness. The DS21 Pallas refined that foundation with improved hydraulics, a larger engine, and interior details that elevated it from a technical marvel to a symbol of cultural pride. Step inside, and the cabin felt like a capsule from the future. The dashboard wrapped around the driver with minimalist precision. The single-spoke steering wheel, so strange at first, became a design icon in its own right. Every surface seemed designed not for ornament but for harmony. This was the essence of the DS21 Pallas. Beauty born of purpose. The materials, from the soft seats to the precise instrumentation, reflected Citroën's devotion to comfort through innovation. For passengers, the experience was like gliding through air, isolated from the chaos of the road. But what made the DS21 Pallas so extraordinary was invisible to the eye. Its hydropneumatic suspension, a system of pressurized fluid and nitrogen-filled spheres, replaced traditional springs and shock absorbers. As the car moved, the suspension self-leveled, adjusting instantly to weight shifts, braking, or uneven pavement. Drivers could even raise or lower the ride height manually to tackle rough terrain or ease into a garage. This mechanical symphony gave the DS its otherworldly smoothness, a sensation that competitors could not replicate for decades. The hydraulic system went beyond suspension. The same pressure network powered the steering and braking systems, delivering precision that felt intuitive long before computers entered the picture. The DS21 Pallas used engineering complexity to create simplicity for the driver. At a time when most cars demanded constant correction and effort, this one responded with graceful calm. On French roads, it was not merely a car. It was an ambassador of modernity, showing that science could make motion beautiful. Yet the ambition came with a price. The hydropneumatic setup required careful maintenance, and its complexity intimidated mechanics unfamiliar with Citroën's philosophy. For owners, though, the reward justified the learning curve. Driving a DS21 Pallas was not about raw performance. It was about the sense of being connected to the road through precision and serenity. The engine, an inline-4 of modest output, worked in partnership with the suspension to deliver refined motion rather than brute force. Even at high speeds, the car stayed composed, absorbing imperfections as if the pavement itself were being smoothed ahead of the tires. Citroën's engineers treated every component as part of a single ecosystem. The DS21 Pallas featured power-assisted brakes that required only a light touch, further reinforcing the effortless feel. Headlights swiveled with the steering wheel, illuminating corners before the car entered them. Such details made the DS feel alive, predictive, and protective. It was more than a vehicle. It was an idea of what travel could become when creativity met courage. Public reaction mirrored awe and skepticism. Many admired the elegance, but others questioned whether such technology could survive daily use. The truth lay in the DS21 Pallas's endurance. Thousands were driven across Europe for decades, their systems still functioning with uncanny grace. Citroën's commitment to engineering purity gave owners a sense of participating in a grand experiment, one that turned ordinary roads into laboratories of motion. By 1969, the DS21 Pallas had become a rolling statement of what France stood for in design and innovation. It represented confidence, daring, and the pursuit of comfort as a human right, not a luxury. Where other manufacturers sought prestige through horsepower or chrome, Citroën pursued progress through intelligence. The DS21 Pallas captured that spirit perfectly, blending avant-garde aesthetics with practical brilliance. Every time it rose from its resting height, it reminded the driver that invention could be poetic. Even the name carried symbolism. Pallas, derived from Pallas Athena, goddess of wisdom, reflected Citroën's intellectual approach to engineering. The DS21 Pallas was wisdom in motion, balancing art and science with elegance few could match. Its aerodynamic shell sliced through the air quietly, while the hydraulic heart inside pumped life into every gesture. In cities, it turned heads. On highways, it whispered past, unbothered by imperfections that rattled lesser machines. What made the DS21 Pallas timeless was not speed or size, but the feeling it created. People remembered their first ride more vividly than any specification sheet. There was something almost magical about seeing the car rise gently when the engine started, as if awakening from sleep. It blurred the line between machine and living thing. Decades later, that image still defines the legend. Citroën never intended the DS21 Pallas to follow convention. It was built to challenge it. Its creators knew that progress often looks strange at first, but they trusted that true elegance would endure. The DS proved them right. Long after its debut, the car continues to inspire designers, engineers, and dreamers who see in it the perfect fusion of vision and reality. For those who experienced it, the DS21 Pallas was not just transportation. It was a statement that the future could be comfortable, graceful, and profoundly human. The Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 may have looked serene on the surface, but underneath that calm exterior lived one of the most intricate mechanical systems of its era. Every component seemed to participate in a larger conversation between technology and comfort. The car's hydro-pneumatic suspension was not an isolated invention. It was part of a grand design philosophy that sought to eliminate compromise. In a world where most cars balanced performance against comfort, Citroën wanted both. The DS21 Pallas achieved this balance by rewriting the rules of how a car interacts with the road. The core of that achievement lay in its hydraulic heart. Pressurized fluid coursed through an interconnected network of metal lines, maintaining the car's posture regardless of terrain or load. As passengers climbed in, the system compensated automatically, keeping the car perfectly level. On rough roads, it adjusted instantaneously, creating a sensation that drivers often described as gliding over air. This wasn't just marketing poetry. It was physics applied to pleasure. The DS21 Pallas showed that engineering could serve emotion, turning motion itself into an experience worth savoring. Such refinement required a kind of obsessive precision. Each nitrogen sphere acted as both spring and shock absorber, separated from the hydraulic fluid by a flexible membrane. As the car hit a bump, the gas compressed, the fluid moved, and equilibrium was restored without harshness. Citroën's engineers spent years perfecting the system, and by 1969, the DS21 Pallas featured the most mature version yet. It was more reliable, more responsive, and smoother than any earlier DS model. The result was a ride quality that bordered on surreal. For the driver, the system demanded trust. Traditional cars offered mechanical feedback through steering and pedal effort. The DS21 Pallas redefined that connection with hydraulically assisted controls that responded to the lightest input. The steering wheel could turn the front wheels with one finger, yet it never felt disconnected. The brake pedal, actually a pressure-sensitive button, required a gentle tap to summon powerful deceleration. To the uninitiated, it felt alien. To those who adapted, it felt like mastery. Once you learned its language, the DS rewarded precision with elegance. The car's mechanical layout was unconventional as well. Its front-wheel drive platform optimized space and traction, while the engine sat ahead of the wheels, an arrangement that seemed odd but balanced perfectly with the car's weight distribution. The DS21 Pallas engine was a refined 2.1-liter inline-4, mated to either a manual gearbox or Citroën's semi-automatic system. It wasn't about brute acceleration. Instead, it delivered smooth, steady torque ideal for relaxed yet confident driving. The combination of front-wheel drive, self-leveling suspension, and responsive steering gave the DS a composure that astonished those used to the twitchy handling of traditional sedans. Citroën's pursuit of harmony extended to aerodynamics. The DS21 Pallas was shaped not by fashion but by airflow. Its tapering roofline and enclosed rear wheels reduced drag long before wind tunnels became common design tools. This attention to efficiency gave it excellent stability at speed and remarkable fuel economy for its size. It also gave the DS its unmistakable silhouette, a visual shorthand for innovation. Even parked, the car looked fast, as though the air around it bent to accommodate its presence. For passengers, the DS21 Pallas offered a sense of isolation from the outside world that was almost spiritual. The cabin was hushed, insulated by clever design rather than sheer bulk. Every detail reinforced the illusion of floating. The way the suspension settled gently after bumps, the calm steering response, the light filtering through its panoramic glass. Citroën turned travel into theater, with the driver as conductor and the road as silent accompaniment. It was luxury defined not by excess, but by effortlessness. This approach reflected a broader cultural ambition. France in the 1960s was confident, modernizing rapidly, and eager to show that design and technology could coexist gracefully. The Citroën DS21 Pallas embodied that spirit. It was as much a national symbol as a product, capturing the optimism of a country that valued intelligence as much as performance. Where rivals competed in horsepower wars, Citroën championed the art of smoothness. The DS stood as proof that progress could be civil, even poetic. Still, the car's brilliance invited challenges. Mechanics outside France often struggled to service its hydraulic systems, and parts could be costly. Some owners found the maintenance daunting, while others embraced it as a badge of sophistication. The DS21 Pallas demanded understanding, not just ownership. Those who learned its rhythms often described it as a partnership, a relationship built on mutual respect between driver and machine. In return, the car offered something rare: complete composure in motion. By the late 1960s, the DS21 Pallas became an icon of forward-thinking engineering. Political leaders used it as an official vehicle, artists painted it, and filmmakers featured it to evoke elegance and intellect. It was both transport and statement. No other sedan combined such visual drama with such calm confidence. When viewed alongside its contemporaries, the DS21 Pallas seemed to belong to another era entirely, one where cars could think for themselves. The secret of its enduring charm lies in its coherence. Every system, every curve, every switch served a unified purpose: to create the smoothest possible journey. The DS21 Pallas was not just a collection of advanced technologies. It was a philosophy of motion, a belief that innovation should enhance life rather than complicate it. That ethos remains as relevant today as it was in 1969. The car's influence can still be traced in modern adaptive suspensions, active steering, and design languages that prioritize serenity as much as speed. Even decades after production ended, the DS21 Pallas inspires fascination. Collectors treasure it not simply for rarity, but for meaning. It represents a time when car makers dared to experiment without fear of alienating the market. The DS proved that progress required faith in imagination. Its creators believed that comfort could be revolutionary. And they were right. Every ride reaffirmed the idea that engineering, when guided by vision, could achieve something close to art. Owning a DS21 Pallas was a declaration of independence from convention. It told the world that the driver valued intelligence over aggression, grace over spectacle. The car's gentle ascent when started became a ritual of rebirth, a quiet reminder that technology could still evoke wonder. That moment, when the suspension lifted the car into its poised stance, symbolized everything Citroën stood for: confidence without arrogance, complexity made invisible, and the pursuit of the sublime through machinery. Few vehicles have matched the Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 in creating a complete sensory experience. It was a rolling paradox. Complex yet calming, futuristic yet humane. Its legacy endures because it redefined what progress could feel like. By transforming the mechanics of motion into a symphony of comfort, it gave drivers and passengers alike a glimpse of the future, and made that future feel beautifully within reach. The Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 did not just shape its era, it transcended it. By the time production neared its end, the automotive world had begun to recognize what Citroën had achieved. The DS had redefined expectations of luxury, comfort, and design integrity. Yet the car's most profound impact was philosophical. It demonstrated that progress in transportation could be elegant, humane, and emotionally engaging. While other manufacturers chased speed or status, Citroën had quietly proven that serenity could be the highest form of sophistication. In an age obsessed with horsepower, the DS21 Pallas was a quiet revolution. It taught that technology could create not only efficiency but grace. Its hydro-pneumatic suspension inspired generations of engineers to explore active ride control systems that would eventually appear in high-end sedans and sports cars alike. What once seemed like eccentric experimentation became the foundation for an industry-wide pursuit of smoothness. When modern cars automatically adjust their ride height or stiffen dampers in milliseconds, they echo lessons first learned from the DS. But the legacy of the Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 extended beyond engineering. It reshaped the language of automotive design. Its streamlined form, once considered radical, became a visual standard for aerodynamic efficiency. Designers began to understand that beauty could be a byproduct of purpose, rather than ornamentation. The DS's proportions, its long wheelbase, tapering roofline, and minimal chrome, foreshadowed the minimalist aesthetic that dominates today's premium cars. Even the placement of its headlights and the integration of functional curves reflected a harmony between form and function that was rare in its time. The DS21 Pallas also left a deep cultural imprint. In France, it became an emblem of national ingenuity, a rolling ambassador of creativity. To drive one was to participate in a narrative of progress, a belief that the future was not something to fear but something to sculpt. Across Europe and beyond, the car came to symbolize modern optimism. It appeared in art exhibitions, films, and literature as a shorthand for futuristic thinking. Politicians, artists, and scientists alike admired it, not because it flaunted power, but because it embodied intelligence. Yet the true brilliance of the DS21 Pallas lay in its restraint. It never shouted its achievements. Its innovations worked quietly in the background, leaving the driver to enjoy their effects without distraction. The car absorbed imperfections, balanced itself, and performed its duties with effortless composure. This subtlety became its signature. Even decades later, enthusiasts describe the DS experience in terms of calmness, as if the car itself encouraged patience and perspective. It made travel contemplative rather than competitive. The DS21 Pallas marked the peak of an era before technology became invisible behind electronics. Every hiss and adjustment of its hydraulics was tangible, every motion mechanical yet graceful. It gave the driver a sense of connection to a living machine, a reminder that precision and personality need not be opposites. As newer generations of cars traded mechanical character for digital control, the DS became a symbol of what was lost, the tactile dialogue between human and mechanism. Its influence persisted quietly. In the decades that followed, many luxury manufacturers experimented with adaptive systems that echoed Citroën's pioneering spirit. Air suspension, variable damping, and self-leveling systems all owed conceptual debts to the DS21 Pallas. The car's holistic engineering approach, where every system interacted for a unified result, became the blueprint for modern automotive integration. Today's cars with advanced sensors, computers, and predictive systems continue the lineage that Citroën began with valves, pumps, and spheres. Collectors and restorers who keep the DS21 Pallas alive are not just preserving a car. They are curating a philosophy. Each restored example tells the story of a time when design courage outweighed commercial caution. Citroën took risks that would terrify most corporate boards, yet those risks produced something timeless. In a world that rewards efficiency over imagination, the DS stands as proof that daring ideas can yield lasting beauty. For many owners, Maintaining a DS21 Pallas is a labor of affection. The hydraulic systems demand respect and understanding, but those who invest the effort are rewarded with an experience no modern car replicates. The sensation of the car lifting itself to ride height, the soft lilt over uneven pavement, and the almost meditative quietness, all create a bond between person and machine. In that relationship lies the essence of the DS legacy. Technology serving emotion, not overpowering it. Even outside automotive circles, the DS21 Pallas has become a design touchstone. Museums display it alongside sculptures and architecture as an example of functional art. Its silhouette remains instantly recognizable, its details studied by designers seeking to blend practicality with vision. It continues to appear in concept cars, retrofuturist art, and modern reinterpretations that borrow its spirit of fluidity. The DS does not age. It evolves through inspiration. Perhaps the most profound impact of the Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 is the idea it left behind. It suggested that true luxury lies not in excess but in experience. Comfort is not a static quality but a dynamic one. An active conversation between car, road, and driver. Citroën captured that conversation with remarkable sincerity. Every piston and valve in the DS worked toward the same goal: to make motion feel effortless and inevitable. In doing so, the DS anticipated the modern pursuit of seamless technology long before digital systems made it easy. Today, when we talk about innovation in mobility, autonomous driving, adaptive control, and intelligent design, the DS21 Pallas deserves a place at the foundation. It was a machine that thought ahead, literally adjusting itself in real time to protect its occupants from discomfort. It made engineering humane, and that is why it endures. Its lessons are as relevant in an electric age as they were in an age of carburetors and fluid lines. To encounter a DS21 Pallas in person is to glimpse a philosophy rendered in steel and glass. The car does not impress through aggression, but through calm assurance. It stands as a reminder that progress is not just about reaching the destination faster, but about arriving there better. More rested, more inspired, more aware of the possibilities of design. The Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 remains one of the rare examples in automotive history where ambition and empathy met perfectly in motion. It is not nostalgia that keeps its legend alive, it is relevance, renewed every time someone starts the engine and watches it rise gently, ready once again to glide into the future. The Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 leaves behind more than a legacy of technology. It leaves a lesson about vision. Few cars have managed to change both how we travel and how we think about travel. The DS did both. It proved that comfort could be engineered as precisely as performance, that style could emerge from necessity, and that bold ideas could age into timeless classics. Looking back, the DS21 Pallas feels less like a product of the 1960s and more like a preview of the decades to come. It stands as an early argument for intelligent motion, where design and function work in harmony to serve the human experience. What continues to fascinate about the Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 is its ability to connect emotion with mechanics. It invites admiration not only for its curves and innovation but for its courage. In an industry often guided by convention, Citroën dared to build a car that questioned the definition of comfort, safety, and beauty. Its self-leveling suspension, responsive steering, and intuitive controls were not just technical achievements. They were acts of imagination. Every feature asked the same question: what if a car could adapt to you, instead of you adapting to it? That idea still drives automotive innovation today. When modern vehicles adjust ride height, steer with assistance, or dampen vibrations electronically, they echo the same principles that powered the DS21 Pallas more than half a century ago. It was a car that looked forward, not sideways, and it continues to guide engineers who seek to merge precision with poetry. The DS transformed the concept of luxury from static opulence to dynamic experience, paving the way for every car that now strives to feel both effortless and intelligent. Its cultural resonance endures because it touched something deeper than design. The DS21 Pallas represented a moment when optimism about the future felt tangible. It gave people a glimpse of what life could be when creativity and craftsmanship worked together. The car became a moving sculpture, a statement that progress could be gentle and refined rather than loud and forceful. Even today, seeing a DS glide silently over uneven ground evokes the same quiet wonder it did in 1969. Every era produces one or two machines that transcend their purpose to become symbols. The Citroën DS21 Pallas is one of them. It reminds us that technology can have a soul, that innovation is not only about advancement but about intention. It is a testament to what happens when engineers and designers refuse to accept the limits of their time. Long after its hydraulic systems are replaced by electronic ones and its gasoline engine becomes a relic, the DS21 Pallas will remain a reference point for balance, elegance, and imagination in motion. The story of this car is the story of belief. Belief that intelligence could be beautiful, that machinery could be graceful, and that progress could feel peaceful. The Citroën DS21 Pallas 1969 did not just float on air. It elevated what it meant to drive, what it meant to create, and what it meant to dream. It stands eternal as proof that true innovation never grows old, because its purpose is not to impress, but to inspire.